Okay, so we will pan around real quick. So, do I not know how to do this? I don't. Okay, we're gonna pan around. There's the audience. My youngest member is 18 and oldest member is, I don't know, almost 40. Okay. You guys have to go. Sorry. Just go upstairs for a minute. It won't be very long. Okay. So before I do give you the topic of my speech, I do want to show you a couple questions to show you. Okay, so now if I show you this device, and I'll show you the camera, what do you guys think it looks like? Or what it could be used for?
Like a sleeping pod.
A sleeping pod? Okay, now so if I show you this picture, I'll show the camera first. What do you think this is used? Like, it's the same device, so do you think it's used for the same thing? Maybe something in a rejuvenating spa somewhere? So this device is a capsule that allows a person the ability to end their life by having the oxygen levels within the capsule be dramatically reduced while maintaining low levels of CO2. By doing this, users experience a sort of calm and euphoric death. And this capsule is called the Sarco. It was designed by Philip Nitschke on behalf of the attorneys for Tony Nicholson, who was a UK man living with locked-in syndrome who chose to end his life by refusing food for the last week of living. Tony is is an example of thousands who choose to an agonizing death over continued suffering. But what if these people didn't have to resort to agonizing and lonely death if assisted death was a service provided? So that's what led me to want to discuss the legalization of assisted suicide in Switzerland. And the purpose of my speech is to inform you that assisted suicide is legal in Switzerland for more than terminally ill patients. And, oh God. The dog distracted me, so I apologize. So it is legalized in Switzerland for more than terminally ill patients, and the majority of its citizens want this practice to remain legal for both their own residents and for foreign travelers. I am currently a crisis counselor, and I do work with suicidal clients every day, so my current work has led to me just doing ongoing research on the subject. Now, this Sarco device is only one of the emerging innovations to achieve a quick and painless death upon request. Such a practice is often referred to as assisted suicide, and we'll start by looking at who's eligible and the current process to request and carry out these services in Switzerland. And then next we will look at the Right to Die organizations established to streamline this process and explore how Switzerland became to be seen as a tourist destination for death. And then lastly, we'll look at how strongly the public supports it. So from here on out, I will refer to assisted suicide as AS. And when discussing AS, many automatically wrap in euthanasia as being the same practice, so it can be beneficial for us to start by just differentiating between the two. And the act of euthanasia, as explained by the Annals of Palliative Medicine, is deliberately ending a patient's life, which is usually at the hands of a physician, either at the request of the patient or on behalf of the patient's family, like such as when life support is withdrawn. Where these practices are legal, APM goes on to also explain that AS is different in that this practice usually involves just a physician prescribing the lethal medication and then the patient taking it themselves. Where these practices are legal, the primary requirement is that the patient has to have a terminal illness with suffering. Switzerland is the outlier to this terminal illness, though, and Swiss Medical Weekly explains that AS has been legalized in Switzerland since the 1940s, as long as the person wishing for death carries out the act themselves, and those involved do so in an unselfish manner. Switzerland is the first country without the terminal illness requirement. Now, to be considered a qualifying candidate, as explained by Alliance Vita, people must be an adult, they must have full decision capabilities, and they must meet one or more of the following, which is having disabilities from old age, have unbearable suffering, or be afflicted with an incurable health condition. Now, from a legal standpoint, AS is not considered a medical act in Switzerland, therefore it is not required to be carried out by medical doctors, which has allowed the unbearable suffering component to come under scrutiny over the years. And many right to die organizations have been established over the years to help carry out this process, including the death investigations. People begin their journey by requesting services from one of these right to die organizations, such as Dignitas or Exit, and the organization will help arrange a physician to meet with the patients 2 times, 2 weeks apart. Then during those meetings, they are certifying the diagnosis and the person's intent to die. And then from there, either that physician or a physician with the organization will prescribe the lethal substance. And then once this substance is prescribed, a support assistant takes it to the person, which is usually in their house, because 73% of assisted deaths do occur in the person's home. These Swiss right to die organizations have played a huge role in public acceptance and have championed to have services continue. And so this has led Switzerland to become known as a destination for death among tourists. And as noted by Daniel Sperling, the first suicide tourism first appeared in the 1990s and was provided by Dignitas. And according to Wikipedia, roughly 60% of all assisted deaths by Dignitas are given to German residents, British nationals are second in line, and Australians are right in line after that. David Goodall is one such Australian who chose to travel to Switzerland to end his life by AS. He was 104 years old at the time of his death and not suffering from any terminal illnesses. And this was reported by the Swiss Info. Suicide tourism has caused many over the years to debate the Swiss model of acceptance. And in Switzerland, it has been under attack several times over the years. However, the general public and medical faculty have repeatedly rejected any proposals brought up, such as in May of 2011, a referendum called Stop Assisted Suicide was held, and it was rejected by 84% of the voters, as reported by Swiss Medical Weekly. And then with regards to the medical faculty, Swiss Medical Weekly also notes that 77% of doctors surveyed agreed with AS. Now, AS is carried out by the individual themselves with the support or attendance of another one, which is usually a loved one. And this practice has been legalized in Switzerland since the 1940s, which is currently the only country allowing AS for non-terminal patients. Switzerland has become known as a destination for suicide tourism, which is when someone travels to another region to take advantage of that region's assisted dying laws. Much debate over the years have made attempts to put an end to AS for non-terminal patients and for foreigners. However, the general public and medical faculty majority continue to reject these attempts, showing that there is more public favor for assisted dying. Now, when discussing AS, it is important to keep in mind that the legalization behind this practice is not intended to give another person the ability to end someone's life. Instead, legalization of AS is much more about someone having the ability to sit with a loved one as they choose to end their life, which is their legal right to do so.